This is 3 scary creepypasta horror stories told in second-person perspective. If you like my content, then feel free to give this video a thumbs up and possibly subscribe to my channel for future videos like this one. Now my friends, let's make you a part of a scary story. And if you make it to the end of the video, I'll show you a picture of some tape on a wall.
Monsta Creepypasta.
Long before the world had words for fear, long before humanity even comprehended the concept of evil, there existed an entity known only by the chilling name, Frightskin. His true origins is a mystery, lost to the sands of time, whispered only in the darkest corners of forgotten civilizations. Some say he is as old as the night itself, a being born from the primal terror that once gripped early man when the sun set and the shadows came alive. The first recorded mention of Frightskin dates back to ancient Sumerian tablets, where he was described as a skin thief and devourer of flesh. The ancients believed him to be a vengeful spirit, cursed to walk the earth and prey upon those who dared to invite him into their lives. Yet Frightskin is more than a spirit. He is an ancient force of nature, a manifestation of humanity's deepest, most primal fears. Throughout history, many have attempted to summon Frightskin, driven by curiosity, desperation, or sheer madness. The ritual is simple but effective. Write a note inviting him into your home, add a picture of yourself and your signature, seal it in the envelope, and place it under your bed. The next morning, if you are unfortunate enough, you will find a different envelope in its place, containing a letter written in blood. Dear, your name. I want to thank you for the invitation. I shall arrive sooner than you know, is what the letter will tell you. The letter is the first sign of his acceptance. Following this, strange phenomena begin, lights flickering erratically, electronic devices emit static, and the air grows thick with an oppressive sense of dread. For 3 days, these signs continue, growing more intense as his arrival approaches. On the third day, wherever you go, you will hear the haunting tune, Are You Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf by Henry Hall. The song is a harbinger of Frightskin's imminent arrival. It echoes from unseen sources, filling your mind with its eerie melody. By nightfall, he will come for you. Frightskin does not simply kill his victims, he harvests them. He will skin you alive with supernatural precision, wearing your skin as his own, consuming your flesh to sustain his eternal existence. It is said that the screams of his victims echo through the void, filling the darkness that birthed him. No one knows what Frightskin truly is. Some speculate he is a demon, banished from the underworld for crimes even hell could not condone. Others believe he is a cosmic entity, a remnant of a forgotten world where even fear reigned supreme. Whatever the truth, one thing is certain. Frightskin is not bound by time or space. He exists in the shadows, waiting for the next foolish soul to invite him in. Many who hear of Frightskin dismiss the legend as mere folklore, yet those who have experienced his terror know better. The ritual may seem like a game, a harmless prank, but it is a doorway to unimaginable horror. Once the invitation is sent, there is no turning back. Frightskin will come, and he will leave no trace of your existence behind, only the chilling echo of the forgotten song. Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Beware, for Frightskin is always watching, always waiting, and once summoned, he will not be denied. You would know, because you have encountered him. You heard about the ritual from a friend, a ghost story told at a party. It was just a silly game, they said, something to spook the easily scared. The legend of Frightskin, a name talked about by those who have heard it, and it is always accompanied by nervous laughter. No one really believed it, but the dare was irresistible. Write the letter, follow the instructions, and see what happens. What harm could it do? It's late at night when you finally decide to try it. The air in your room is still, the only sound the faint ticking of a clock. You sit at your desk, pen in hand, feeling a mix of excitement and skepticism. Carefully you write the letter. Dear Frightskin, I invite you into my home. You are welcome to come over if you choose. I shall be waiting for your response and possible arrival. You pause for a moment, feeling a slight chill, but shake it off. You attach a photo of yourself to the note, scrawling your signature at the bottom. You place it all inside of an envelope, sealing it with trembling fingers. With a final glance around the room, you slip it under your bed. The next morning, you awake with a strange sense of anticipation. The envelope is gone, replaced by another. You hesitate, heart pounding, as you pick it up and tear it open. Inside, written in what looks disturbingly like blood, is a simple message. Dear, your name. I want to thank you for the invitation. I shall arrive sooner than you know. A shiver runs down your spine, but you try to laugh it off. Someone must be playing a trick on you. But how? You were alone in your room all night. Day 1. The day passes uneventfully, and you begin to forget about the letter. But as night falls, things start to change. The lights in your house flicker, plunging you into darkness for brief, nerve-wracking moments. Your phone emits bursts of static, and the TV switches itself on and off. You feel watched, though you are alone. Every shadow seems to move, every creak of the floorboards sends your heart racing. Day 2. Sleep doesn't come easy. You wake up drenched in sweat, the air in your room thick and oppressive. The flickering lights return, but now the static on your devices form unintelligible whispers. You strain to understand the words, but they dissolve into eerie, distorted laughter. You can't shake the feeling that something is closing in on you. Day 3. By now, you're on edge, jumping at every sound. The lights flicker more violently, and the whispers have become louder, almost mocking. As you go about your day, a song begins to follow you. Are You Afraid of the Big Bad Wolf by Henry Hall? It plays from nowhere and everywhere, a chilling, old-timey melody that worms its way into your mind. By nightfall, you are paralyzed with fear. The song plays louder, filling every corner of your home. The lyrics repeat in an endless loop. You try to block it out, but it's no use. You know what's coming. The Arrival. As the clock strikes midnight, the song cuts off abruptly, leaving an eerie silence. Then you hear tapping and faint scraping sounds that causes your heart to pound. It's coming from under your bed. Your breath catches in your throat as you freeze, too terrified to move. The scraping grows louder, closer, until you feel the mattress shift beneath you. A voice, low and demonic, whispers your name. The temperature in the room drops, your breath visible in the cold air. The figure that emerges from under your bed is not of this world. His skin is patchwork, stitched together from countless victims. His eyes are empty voids, his mouth a twisted grin. Before you could scream, he lunges. His hands, cold and clammy, grip you with inhuman strength. You struggle, but it's futile. The last thing you hear is the song, faint and distant, as his blade carves into your flesh. Your body is never found. Your disappearance becomes another unsolved mystery, a cautionary tale for others who might be tempted by the ritual. Frightskin is real, and he is always watching and waiting for the next fool to invite him in their home. The legend grows, but few truly believe, until it's too late. You thought it was just a game, you thought it was just a story, but now you know the truth. Frightskin is no mere legend, he is terror incarnate, and once summoned, he will not rest until he has claimed his prize. You.
Who's afraid of the big bad wolf? Big bad wolf, big bad wolf, who's afraid?
Years ago, before the legend took place, Eddie Thorpe was just another face in the crowd, a quiet, unassuming man living in the outskirts of a small town. But behind his ordinary exterior lay a dark and twisted soul. Eddie was a collector, though not of stamps or coins. His obsession was far more disturbing. He collected human heads. Eddie Thorpe was a meticulous serial killer who stalked his victims under the cover of darkness, choosing them carefully and with purpose. He would behead his prey with surgical precision, keeping their severed heads as trophies in his hidden basement shrine. Each head was meticulously preserved, a testament to his gruesome artistry. The townsfolk talked about disappearances but never suspected the mild-mannered man who kept to himself. Eddie's reign of terror came to a sudden halt one fateful night. The police, acting on an anonymous tip, closed in on him. Realizing that the net was tightening, Eddie fled in his old beat-up car, leading the authorities on a high-speed chase through the backcountry roads. As he raced through the darkness, a thick fog descended, obscuring his vision. Desperation drove him faster, but fate had other plans. He lost control of the car on a sharp curve, crashing into a massive oak tree. The impact was fatal. Eddie was decapitated instantly. His body ejected from the vehicle while his severed head rolled to a stop in the middle of the road. The police found the scene gruesome and unsettling, but their horror deepened when they discovered his hidden room in his basement. The walls were lined with shelves, each one holding a preserved human head. The room reeked of decay and madness, a chilling testament to the horrors Eddie had inflicted upon the town. Though Eddie Thorpe died that night, his spirit did not rest. The evil that consumed him in life now anchored him to the mortal world, transforming him into Head Eddie, a vengeful specter driven by the insatiable need to collect more heads. The legend began to circulate among the townfolk, a eerie story talked about often, mainly at late-night gatherings. It was said that on pitch-black nights, those brave or foolish enough to summon him could evoke his wrath by performing a ritual chant. The chant offered their heads as a temporary exchange, daring Eddie to chase them down before they could reach the safety of their own property. The ritual was simple but terrifying. Gather on a deserted backcountry road under the cover of night, with nerves stilled, chant the words, "Eddie, oh Eddie, your head is now gone. I offer you mine, but only till dawn. That's if you can catch me before my feet hit my lawn. So spawn here, Head Eddie, and accept what I pawn." The air would grow still, the darkness pressing in like a suffocating blanket. Then, from somewhere nearby, the screams of a man would echo through the night, accompanied by the acrid smell of smoke. It was the sound of Eddie's final moments, eternally replaying his gruesome demise. Next, the sound of running footsteps would pierce the silence, growing louder and closer. This was the signal to run. Participants had to race back to the safety of their property, their hearts pounding with terror. The rules were clear. Reach your own lawn before Eddie caught you, or suffer a fate worse than death. If you reached your property, you were safe, because it cannot trespass. But those who made the mistake of running to someone else's property, or who were caught before reaching safety, faced a horrifying fate. Head Eddie would seize them, dragging them away into the shadows. Their screams would be the last sound heard before the night swallowed them whole. By dawn, their headless bodies would be found, their heads added to Eddie's spectral collection. The legend of Head Eddie serves as a terrifying reminder that evil surrounds us any and every single day and night. Those who dare to summon him do so at their own peril, for Head Eddie is always waiting and eager to add another head to his ghastly collection. In the still of the night, when the fog rolls in and the air grows cold, listen carefully. You might just hear the echoes of screams and footsteps in the distance, a reminder that Head Eddie is never far away, always searching for someone's head. You should know. You've heard the stories, the rumors passed down through generations about Head Eddie. They say he was once a man named Eddie Thorpe, a quiet loner who lived on the outskirts of town. No one suspected the horrors hidden behind his closed doors until it was too late. He was a collector of heads, a serial killer who preserved his victims' severed heads as trophies. One night, his twisted reign ended in a fiery crash while fleeing the police. His car veered off the road, slamming into an old oak tree. The impact was so violent that it decapitated him instantly. His head was found yards away from the wreck, eyes still wide with fear. But death was not the end for Eddie Thorpe. His dark spirit lingered, bound to the streets of his demise, transforming him into the vengeful entity known as Head Eddie. Tonight, you and your friends decided to test the legend. It was supposed to be just another thrill-seeking adventure, something to laugh about later. Armed with flashlights and a growing sense of dread, you drive a little ways away from your house to a desolated backcountry road where you all begin to play the game. The moon hides behind thick clouds, casting the world into pitch-black darkness. Standing in a circle, you all exchange nervous glances. The dare seems harmless enough, a simple chant to summon Head Eddie, yet an unspoken fear lingers in the air. You clear your throat as you begin to say along with your friends. Eddie, oh Eddie, your head is now gone. I offer you mine, but only till dawn. That's if you can catch me before my feet hit my lawn. So spawn here, head Eddie, and accept what I pawn. The words hang in the air, swallowed by the surrounding silence. For a moment, nothing happens. But then, the night comes alive with an ear-piercing scream, a man's scream, filled with agony. The acrid smell of burning rubber and smoke invades your nostrils, making you cough. Panic sets in as you realize the legend might be more than just a story. Your heart pounds as you hear something, the unmistakable sound of heavy footsteps thudding against the dirt road. They're getting closer. Without a second thought, you bolt, your friends scattering in different directions. The only goal now is to reach the safety of your own property. The rules were clear. Only your lawn can save you. Straying onto someone else's property would mean a fate worse than death. Wind whips against your face as you sprint through the dark, the sound of footsteps never far behind. The smell of smoke grows stronger, as if the crash that took Eddie's life is happening all over again. You can almost hear the screeching of tires, the crunch of metal, the final moments of a madman replaying in a loop. Just as you think you're gaining distance, the footsteps stop. You glance over your shoulder and your blood turns to ice. There he stands, Head Eddie. His form, one of a decapitated man, one that is holding his own head in his arms, and his eyes are focused on you. You push yourself harder, legs burning as you race towards your home. The familiar sight of your lawn comes into view, a beacon of safety. You can almost feel the grass under your feet, the relief washing over you. But right before your foot touches the edge of your lawn, a cold, clammy hand grabs your shoulder, yanking you back into the darkness. You scream, thrashing against the ghostly grip, but it's no use. Head Eddie drags you away, his strength far beyond anything natural. The last thing you see is the flickering light of your porch, growing smaller and smaller until the darkness consumes everything. Your friends search for you the next morning, their faces pale with fear. They find your body on the back road you all started playing the game on, and it was headless. The police write it off as another tragic accident, another victim of the road's treacherous curves. But your friends know the truth. They know the legend of Head Eddie is real. The story spreads as a scary story for those who dare to test the limits of fear. Head Eddie is always ready, always waiting for the next foolhardy soul to summon him. Unfortunately for you, however, you're just another head in his ghastly collection, a reminder for the price paid for curiosity and disbelief. In a quiet, isolated village hidden deep in the woods, there lived a woman named Eleanor. She was kind-hearted, beloved by all, and known for her generosity. Her husband, Thomas, was a respected blacksmith, and together they eagerly awaited the birth of their twins. The villagers often spoke of how blessed the couple was, but this happiness would soon turn into a chilling tale of tragedy and terror. One stormy night, Eleanor went into labor. The village midwife was called, but the heavy rain and treacherous paths delayed her arrival. Thomas did his best to comfort his wife, but the delivery was complicated. As the storm raged on, Eleanor gave birth to a boy and a girl, but the joy was short-lived. Both babies were stillborn. Overwhelmed with grief, Eleanor's heart gave out shortly after, leaving Thomas alone with the lifeless bodies of his wife and children. Consumed by grief himself, Thomas blamed himself for the deaths. He spiraled into madness, withdrawing from the world and spending his days crafting intricate wooden dolls in the likeness of his lost children. He believed by placing these dolls in the cribs where his children should have been, their spirits might find peace. But the dolls did not bring peace. Strange occurrences began to plague the village. Livestock went missing, crops withered, and villagers reported hearing a woman's wails echoing through the forest at night. Some claimed to see Eleanor's ghost wandering the village clutching the wooden dolls. Years passed, and the village grew weary of the strange happenings. One night, a young woman named Margaret received a call on her newly acquired telephone, a rare device in those times. The call came at exactly 3 o'clock a.m. When she answered, she heard raspy breathing, followed by a chilling whisper.
Where are my babies?
Margaret, terrified, dropped the phone, but the calls persisted. Each night at the same time, she would hear the same question. The village elders advised her to pass the curse on by giving the spirit a different number, claiming it was the only way to break free from the haunting. Desperate, Margaret did as they instructed, and the calls ceased, only to begin haunting the new victim. As telephones became more common, the legend of Mother is Calling spread far and wide. Those who received the call would first hear heavy, raspy breathing, followed by Eleanor's ghostly voice asking for her babies. If the call was ignored, the victim would suffer horrific nightmares, and shadows would move unnaturally around their homes, and they would become haunted. The only way to escape the curse was to pass the call to someone else, telling Eleanor that the new victim was one of her children. This act of betrayal perpetuated the cycle, spreading the curse across regions and generations. Eleanor's spirit grew more malevolent with each passing year. Her once gentle nature was twisted by grief and betrayal. She no longer sought peace but vengeance on those who perpetuated the curse. Her apparition, a pale, demonic-looking woman with unnaturally wide eyes, would appear on video calls, her whisper turning into a terrifying scream if the victim didn't comply. Those who dared to confront the spirit or refused to pass the curse on were found dead, their faces twisted in terror. Their phones would be left on, still connected on the last call they received. Eleanor's spirit remains trapped between worlds, endlessly, searching for her lost children. Each call she makes is a desperate attempt to reconnect with the souls of her twins. Yet, her method of reaching out, cursed by her grief and the malice of those who betrayed her, only brings more suffering. So, if your phone rings at 3 o'clock a.m. and you hear the chilling words,
Where are my babies?
remember, Mother is calling. Will you answer or will you pass the curse on, condemning another soul to her eternal torment? Well, you can confirm this is real, because you received a call. You've always been skeptical of urban legends, especially ones involving ghosts and curses. Stories like Mother is Calling seemed like nothing more than internet folklore, tales designed to scare kids or fuel late-night conversations. But all that skepticism evaporates one fateful night when your phone rings at exactly 3 o'clock a.m. You're jolted awake by the sudden buzzing of your phone on the nightstand. Groggily, you reach for it, squinting at the bright screen. The caller ID shows something that makes your blood run cold. It's your mother's number. Confused and worried because why would your mom call you at this hour, you swipe to answer. Hello? You whisper, your voice thick with sleep and anxiety. All you hear is raspy breathing on the other end. For a moment, you think the call might have dropped, but then a chilling whisper pierces the silence.
Where are my babies?
You freeze. The voice is not your mother's. It's distorted, feminine, but demonic, filled with an otherworldly anguish that sends shivers down your spine. You remember the stories, the creepy rumors in online forums, and the creepypasta shared around. Mother is Calling was supposed to be just that, a story, but now it feels disturbingly real. You hang up, heart pounding, trying to rationalize what just happened. Then minutes drag on, but you can't shake the eerie feeling. Then, the phone buzzes again, the same number, your mother's number. You don't answer, too terrified to hear that voice again, but the ringing doesn't stop. It persists until you finally power off your phone. Morning comes, and you try to dismiss the incident as a bad dream. Maybe your mind was playing tricks on you, but deep down you know it wasn't just a dream. Desperate for answers, you start digging into the legend. Eleanor's story unfolds like a nightmare. She was a devoted mother-to-be whose joy turned to tragedy when complications during her childbirth claimed not only her life, but also those of her newborn twins. Grief-stricken and unable to move on, her spirit became trapped in a liminal space, forever searching for her lost children. Her anguish became twisted into a malevolence over the years, and she began reaching out to the living, her spirit latching onto the modern technology of phones. The curse was simple. She calls, searching for her babies. If you answer and you hear her plea, you're marked. The most chilling part, she uses the numbers of your loved ones to trick you into answering. The only way to escape is to pass the curse on, to give her someone else's number, convincing her that the new victim is one of her babies, which means that someone had done it to you. Days pass, and you couldn't shake the feeling that you're being watched. Shadows seem to flicker in the corners of your vision. The air grows colder at night, and strange noises ring out through your home. You know the stories well enough. These are the signs that the curse has taken hold. Your phone buzzes again, and this time, the screen is blank. No number, just a notification. Mother is calling. Terrified, you threw the phone across the room, but it continues to ring. The sound is oppressive, filling a space until you can't think straight. You pick it up, hands trembling, and answer.
Where are my babies?
The voice asks again, more insistent this time. I don't know who you are, you stammered, but I'm not your child. The line goes dead. You hope it's over, but the dread in your stomach tells you otherwise. The next night, the call comes again. You don't answer, but the ringing won't stop. The whispers grow louder in your dreams. Eleanor's voice, now a consistent presence in your mind. You realize the truth. There's no escaping her unless you pass the curse on. You wrestle with the moral dilemma. Passing the curse means condemning someone else to this nightmare. But the alternative, endless torment, the consistent presence of Eleanor's ghostly voice, and the ever-growing shadow of her malevolence. Desperate and afraid, you scroll through your contacts, searching for someone, anyone who could take your place. Your fingers hover over a name, maybe a distant acquaintance, someone you don't know well enough to feel the weight of betrayal. With a heavy heart, you send the number, hoping to end your torment. The ringing stops, the shadows recede, and now you're free. But freedom comes at a cost. The guilt gnaws at you. You know what's coming for the person on the other end of that call, and it haunts you. You've become a part of the cycle, another link in the chain of suffering that Eleanor's spirit perpetuates. And though the calls have stopped, you can't help but wonder, will she ever truly be gone? Or is it only a matter of time before Mother calls again? Now, you live with the consistent fear that one day the phone will ring again at 3 o'clock a.m., and this time, there will be no escape.